Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily stock market review for the trading day ending Wednesday, May 4th. Firstly to the S&P 500, and here we see a continuation of the trend to the downside for today. This current candle making a lower high and a lower low. We have seen the continuation of black-bodied candles, suggesting that the sellers are maintaining net momentum to the downside. That's the distance between the open and the close, and suggesting some bearishness continues in this market. We've also seen the market fail to close down towards the lows, and we've closed very close to the midpoint level, suggesting that the sellers have failed to take control once again. Very similar type of close as the previous day, where the close was near the midpoint level. Now that obviously didn't stop the sellers from continuing the trend to the downside. The important factor here is the black body candle and the net momentum, and it has become smaller than the previous day, so net momentum is reducing, but it is still large enough for us to not be too concerned that we are going to see any major buying coming in. Now that doesn't mean that we won't see any buying coming into the market. But the story here is about the sellers are not perhaps as strong as they should be when trending down quite strongly as they are, but also that we're not seeing any strength from the buyers yet. Now, what we have to watch, however, is this area down at the bottom of this highlighted yellow zone at 2040. A previous important area of support and resistance in the past. And the last time we tested down here, the buyers came into the market very, very solidly. So that's our benchmark moving forward, 2040, and that's if we don't see the change of trend back to the upside. Now, if the trend does change to the upside, potentially very strong resistance around this 2072 region, with the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen trading in that area. Importantly, for today's trading, the closing price has been able to be maintained down below the Tenkan-sen, the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, and this does cause some concern. It's the first time in quite some time that we've seen the market close down below the Kijun-sen, and also the second time we've seen it close. So yesterday was the first. Today we've seen follow through on the market continuing to close down there. So this is suggesting that the market may be transitioning into a downtrending phase in that medium-term time frame. We are fairly well established in that fast-term time frame and have been trading down below the Tenkan-sen for some time. Having said that, however, we still do have a bullish market in the longer-term time frame, and that is very important, and it is suggesting that if the buyers can become strong enough, they may come into the market off this previous support level at 2040. Now, looking at the Chica span, however, the Chica span is now failing to confirm the bullishness that we're seeing in the longer-term time frame. And if the market does move lower and and the Chica span moves below the corresponding price action, it will suggest that we have negative momentum, and will suggest that the longer-term time frame may be eventually in danger. Now let's just quickly take a look again at the weekly chart that we looked at earlier this week, and the weekly chart is continuing the trend to the downside on the S&P. Sellers in control, well down below the midpoint level, suggesting that the control is strong, so a little bit stronger than what we've seen on the daily charts, but this is a weekly chart obviously and hasn't completed trading yet. But what I want to highlight here is the important support. This previous swing low tested previously, and some support coming in off this region may be tested. It's at 2039, close to that 2040 level, which is close to the bottom of the highlighted zone on the daily charts. Also the Tenkan-sen trading in this region, and that is strengthening or potentially strengthening the amount of support around this 2039 area. So if we do see the sellers close in a bearish manner down below that Tenkan-sen for the end of the week, it may be a significant event in the market and could be the start of a new fast-term time frame downtrend. It has been some time since the market's been trading down below the Tenkan-sen, roughly about 3 months or so. So a crucial trading period coming up over the next few days for the S&P. Now, importantly, let's take a look at the bands. And we've had the first close down below the lower band for quite some time. The last time that the market was trading below the bands was in early February. And we had a previous trading up outside of the upper band, giving us a very strong bullish tone to the market. And then we had the market potentially transitioning over the last couple of weeks into a downtrending phase, finding resistance at the upper band, whereas it was previously providing support and the market was trading outside of it. Trading down to the bottom of the bands, rallying, lack of follow through, finding support at the lower bands, and now closing down below the lower band. The question here is this a solid bearish candle? The answer is, well, yes and no. The size of the body is large enough to suggest some decent bearishness, but with the sellers failing to close down below, well below the midpoint level, it suggests that the sellers only have maintained weak control for today's trading. So it's not a terribly bearish candle. What we want to see is a bearish candle and then strong bearish follow through. So what's going to be important for the next day's trading, if we do see some strong bearish follow through, but also this area around this previous swing low down about 2034 taken out. And that will suggest that we do have the potential for the market to continue, to begin a new strong bear phase in the medium-term time frame. What we need to watch for the next day too is the lower band trading roughly at about 2057.55. Watch for that to hold as resistance. Now, if the buyers do return into the market and we close back within the bands, then we haven't had the setup for that significant medium-term downtrend. So some interesting trading coming up for the daily charts for the S&P over the next couple of days.